Hey, welcome. So today we are going to demystify the manual transmission or the stick shift. Whether you're a total beginner who's never even sat in one or you're just looking to brush up on your skills, we're going to cover it all, from the absolute basics right up to having full control. All right, let's get into it. Because really, that's what driving a manual car is all about, isn't it? It's about a more connected, a more engaged, and honestly, a much more rewarding experience when you're behind the wheel. This is your journey to mastering that connection.
Okay, so before we even think about rolling an inch, we need to get familiar with the tools you'll be using. It all starts right here with understanding the unique controls that make a manual car, well, a manual car. Now, you already know the accelerator and the brake, but we've got two new players in the game here. First, there's that extra pedal on the far left, that's your clutch, and of course, the star of the show, the gear lever. The real secret to smooth driving is just getting these four to work together in harmony. So what on earth is this clutch pedal? Well, think of it like a bridge. When you push the pedal all the way down, the bridge is up, and the power from the engine is cut off from the wheels. When you start to lift your foot, the bridge comes down, connecting that power. That smooth coordination, that dance between lifting the clutch and pressing the accelerator, that is the fundamental skill you're about to learn. And safety first, always. Before you turn that key, you have to make sure the gear lever is in neutral. That's the spot in the middle where it can just wiggle freely from side to side. Then, press that clutch pedal all the way to the floor. This is actually a safety feature in most modern cars. It makes sure the car won't just lurch forward the second the engine fires up. All right, the engine is running, we're feeling good, let's get this car moving. Now, here's the thing you have to understand about first gear. It is not about going fast. First gear is all about torque. It gives the car the raw muscle it needs to get moving from a dead stop, to climb a really steep hill, or to pull something heavy. Think of it as the power lifter of the gears. Okay, this is the big moment. With the clutch still pressed all the way down, you're going to shift into first. Now, the key word here is slowly. Start lifting your foot off the clutch. You're going to feel a little vibration, a little grab. That's called the biting point. That's your signal to gently give it a little bit of gas. It really is a delicate dance, and finding that perfect balance is what this is all about. So you're moving. Once the engine starts to rev up a bit, it's time for second gear. And it's the exact same rhythm we just learned. Clutch in as you take your foot off the gas, shift the lever down into second, and then smoothly release that clutch as you get back on the accelerator. You'll find second gear is your best friend for slow traffic and for taking corners. We are officially on our way. Now it's time to build up some speed and drive more efficiently. The higher gears are for cruising, of course, but they also hide a pretty surprising secret about which gear in your car is actually the most powerful. As you gain speed, you just keep repeating that same rhythm to shift up. Third gear is going to be your sweet spot for city driving, maybe around 30-40 miles per hour. Fourth gear is for when you're on a bigger road and you want to start saving some fuel. And fifth gear? Well, that's your highway gear. It lets the engine just relax and sip fuel, even at high speeds. Okay, pop quiz time. We know first gear has a ton of torque to get us moving, but if you had to guess, which gear in the entire transmission is the absolute strongest, the one with the most raw, brute force power? The answer is probably not what you think it is. Yep, you're looking at it reverse. It sounds kind of crazy, right? But mechanically speaking, it's the true powerhouse of your gearbox. So why is that? Well, your forward gears use these angled helical teeth to be quiet and smooth, but reverse gear often uses old-school straight-cut gears. They might make that classic whining sound, but they are incredibly strong and deliver the most torque possible. It's all about power, not speed. And that brings us to the golden rule. Because of how it's built, you must bring the car to a complete stop before you ever shift into reverse. Otherwise, you risk doing some serious damage. So now that we know how it all works, let's just take a step back. Because driving a manual isn't for everybody, and it's really important to know the trade-offs and, of course, the biggest rules to keep you and your car safe. Look, on the plus side, you get complete control over the car. You often get better fuel economy, and the maintenance is usually simpler and cheaper. They're also fantastic on hills and in bad weather. But on the other hand, it definitely takes more skill. It can be a real workout for your leg and stop-and-go traffic. And yeah, if you're not careful, you can wear out your clutch a lot faster. So let's lock in these 3 golden rules. Number 1, always push that clutch pedal all the way to the floor for a clean gear change. 2, if a gear doesn't want to go in, don't force it. It just means something's not quite lined up. And 3, like we just talked about,
Never, ever, ever try to shift into reverse while the car is still moving, even a little bit. A manual transmission is built to be tough, and it can last a really, really long time, but only if you take care of it. A few simple habits can make a world of difference for the health of your car.
It's all about prevention. First, just follow the schedule in your owner's manual for changing the gearbox oil. This next one is huge. Avoid riding the clutch. That's the bad habit of just resting your foot on the pedal while you're driving. It causes a ton of unnecessary wear. And finally, use your ears. If you hear grinding or weird whining sounds when you shift, that's your car telling you it needs attention. Listen to it.
And that's it. That's the whole blueprint. We've gone over the controls, the magic of the clutch, the process for shifting through all the gears, and we even uncovered the secret power of reverse. You now have all the knowledge you need to get out there and drive a manual with confidence. So all the theory is done. You have the knowledge, you have the framework. The only thing left now is to actually do it. So where will your journey to mastering the manual car begin? Thanks for joining me today.